everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest, very, very prominent figure in our industry. He is a former IPB Professional League bodybuilder, contest promoter. He's the international head judge for IPB Pro League, the owner of Muscle Contest, and the producer of the Olympia Weekend. Please welcome Tamer El Guindy. How are you, Tamer?
Hey, Ron, it's always great to see you. I always remember you as, when I see you, the best article I have ever been in my entire life was written by you. So I always love seeing you around.
I think, what do we call it? Egyptian monument?
I think it was, trying to, I have it here somewhere here. Oh, the Razor's Edge.
Razor's
Right
Edge,
here.
okay. Was it a,
Yeah, the Razor's Edge.
was it a Muscular Development or was it Muscle Mag?
No, it was a Muscular Development. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. If it had been Muscle Mag, I wouldn't be surprised. I did a lot of good work for them back in the old days. Tamer, people know you now for what you do these days, but let's back up a little bit. Can you give me and give the viewers a little background on how you got into this crazy world of bodybuilding?
Well, I started very early. I started in Brazil. I came to the United States when I was 16 years old to study business and administration. But even in Brazil already, Ron, I was fascinated by bodybuilding. I used to work out in a small gym in Brazil and see pictures of the great, Dorian Yates and Lee Haney, and I was inspired by that. So when I came here to the United States, I really took that a little bit more seriously. And while I was studying for my business classes, I would also, of course, work out and get involved in the fitness industry. So when I finished my business degree, my first job, of course, was working inside of the gyms, and kind of everything lead to becoming a pro bodybuilder and a promoter.
Hmm. So I know, I followed you as an amateur. You turned professional at the 2011 USA Championships. You're 198 and a quarter pounds. 98 pounds of that was your deltoids. They were tremendous. But that when I look up your contest history, it seems to end there. Did you ever compete as a pro?
No, I didn't. You know what happened was very interesting. That same day, of course, two of my mentors in the industry, John Lindsay, the former owner of Muscle Contest and the founder, and Jim Mannion basically came to me and said, Tamer, congratulations. You are now into management. This is your last show. And it was actually one of the hardest moments for me, Ron, because if you follow my career, it took me about 10 years to really get to the pro card. Really, it was a long journey, but I needed to make a very difficult decision. Would I go back and try to fight with Flex Lewis for the 212 title, or would I just retire and focus on promoting the sport and advancing my MBA and putting all the knowledge that way? And it was one of the hardest decisions I ever made. I cried. I was depressed for some days, but ultimately I decided to give it up, my trucks, and just go into promoting events. So
Wow. Wow. So did you start promoting events immediately right from there?
yeah, I was already involved as a judge,
Okay.
but Jim, at that time, and John said, look, this is a conflict of interest. You cannot be the best on both things. You can compete and try to judge and promote events. That's just, you're never gonna do good in any of those.
Yeah.
So I end up only promoting events right away after that. I was already into judging, but then I became a partner with John on the shows, and eventually bought the whole company in 2016.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember at the athlete meeting at the Olympia back in, geez, when was that? Last September? Was that a year ago now? Yeah, it was. Wow. I remember you talking to the guys and you said, something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing, I miss it and I live this through you guys now, because you're so involved in it. Is that sort of, if you had just retired from competing and walked away from the industry and contests and all that completely, I think it'd be different. But is there a lot of satisfaction in just being part of it on the other end of it and actually giving the fans, giving the athletes, everyone a really good experience with the contests?
Well, Ron, I think like what made me give me the final decision was that, people said, look, even if hypothetically you could win a 2012 title, I think that the contributions that you can have to the fitness industry as a promoter and as a head judge is tremendous. If you look at right now, it's not many IFBB pro bodybuilders that are, judges of the Olympia or promoted Olympia. I think I may be the only producer of the Olympia right now that was ever a pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So I feel that I'm truly a representation of all the athletes around the world and their voices out there, but they didn't have it before. So even though it was very hard, I look at those guys competing up there, Ron, and I say, I wish I was there, because once you're a bodybuilder and you know that,
Yeah.
you always have that love, So
Dude, every contest I go to, I look up there and go, ah,
exactly, yeah.
I miss my little sparkly thong. I really do. Um, but you have the background as an athlete. I've heard athletes grumble, under their breath or behind the backs. These promoters, they don't know what it's like, or these judges, they don't know what it's like. They've never gone through this. You've gone through it, obviously, so you have that perspective that maybe some others wouldn't. Do you feel that has made you a better contest promoter, a better judge?
Oh, unquestionably, Ron. I think that really, of course, my academic background and my MBA was helpful, but it was just a very small portion of my really understanding of the industry. My really true understanding, my success is really as an athlete, and understanding how the athletes feel. So we're promoting now the cow this weekend, and I feel like, what would I like as an athlete if I was over there? How would I like to be treated? So I really put the business on the perspective of the athlete first, and this has helped me tremendously.
Well, that leads me to wonder, when you were competing at the higher levels, once you got to the national level, what were some things when you were at the events that you like, I wish this was a little bit different, or I wish that was a little different? What are things? Because I'm sure even then, in the back of your mind, you were thinking of things that could be better.
Well, so I think like the one things that I brought in is that I don't treat the athletes as competitors, Ron. I treat them as customers. And
Mhm.
any other industry, if you treat your customer well, they will come back to your business. But I think a lot of the promoters before, they just treat them as competitors. Say, look, this is what I'm gonna do. If they want to put the show, great. But that's not how we treat people in muscle contests. Those are customers, and we need to provide exceptional customer service to our customers so they can be loyal customers and come back to us. So that really like change everybody when we start treating those athletes as customers, clients, not as competitors. So we try to provide a level of service, a level of attention to them that's a little bit different.
Yeah. And do you get good feedback where they say, that was a great show, Tamer. I'm coming back and doing this show again next year?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like we try to treat every single athlete like in a unique way. By the experience that they're providing them. And to the pro athletes, to the amateur athletes. Our job is to make them fans of of the industry of muscle contest, so these guys can come back. And this is good for all of us. It's good for muscular development. It's good for the NPC, and it's good for muscle contest. We really work together. So
Yeah. So the newest pro division, IPB Pro League division that debuted this year is wellness. Obviously, this has been a rough year for everybody because international travel has been restricted and everything. But, you're being from Brazil and you were promoting events in South America and in Brazil for years. That division has been popular for how long would you say in South America and Brazil?
well, that division was created exactly like about 9 years ago in Brazil, okay,
Yeah.
in Rio de Janeiro, exactly. And the division was created because, as you know, like a lot of men in South America, they like a little thicker woman, particularly from the waist down. That's what they
Yeah.
like. They don't, believe it or not, they don't think that a bikini girls are that attractive for them. They like girls with a little bit bigger glutes, a little bit bigger legs. That's what they think is more sexy. So when the
Wait,
bikini
I thought I
division,
thought everybody thought that. No? No? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
so basically that was kind of what created the wellness, because like girls in Rio de Janeiro, like they were competing there in the bikini division, and they were like frustrated because they say, I don't want my legs to get that small. I don't want my butt to get that small,
Yeah.
because otherwise my husband is gonna divorce me. But I'm gonna go to the beach. Nobody's gonna be looking at me in Copacabana in Ipanema. So then the promoters there say, what? Even though we need to create a different class that kind of feed this kind of category, and the girls there, Ron, they have millions of followers. They're like incredibly popular, and they're a lot more connected to the mainstream. That's why like the Latinos think that's hot.
Yeah. I know I follow quite a few of them. And we just had our first pro wellness event here, and it was kind of hampered by the fact that we didn't have, all these women I follow from places like Costa Rica, Colombia, Brazil. None of them were there. Unfortunately, I don't think they're allowed to travel right now. But I'm just curious. It's been popular for so long there. What took it so long to get to the USA to become part of the IPB Pro League?
So like immediately when the of course the NPC worldwide took over, with the of course the blessings of Jim Mannion and Tyler, we started exploring different kind of opportunities worldwide. And one of the first things that I brought you Jim's attention was the popularity of wellness in South America. And I said, look, this is such a fundamental division that you really cannot be really that successful in certain parts of the world. And now we're being a global organization, we really need to include that. So of course it took some time for Jim to really analyze the division. Tyler went to Brazil a couple of times, so he was blown away by how beautiful and how really sexy those women were and how very popular this division were. And then some of the concerns was, is that gonna fit every single place around the world, every continent, from Europe to North America. And then we felt like, yes, that a lot of people in North America, a lot of those girls that play soccer or a little bit more athletic, they'll love the division more than the bikini division. And
Mm.
then finally we decided to incorporate that, and it has been nothing but success.
Hmm. Have you heard the corny joke I've been telling about wellness for about a year now?
No, I have not. Please tell me.
Okay, it should have two divisions: Brazilian and everybody else. Yeah, yeah. You laugh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that laugh. Um, the Olympia weekend, that it was a huge step when you became producer. I mean, last year was a big. We've seen such changes in the Olympia production team in general this past year. Obviously, Jake Wood bought it from AMI. Dan Solomon took over for Robin Chang, and he's doing things all over the world for NPC worldwide. And you became the producer of the Olympia weekend. So, how did that come about, and what is that job description exactly?
So when American media was owning the Olympia, they want to include somebody else that had a better understanding of marketing in the industry. So they brought in Dan Solomon, and Dan at that point want to make some changes. Also Robin was on his way out. He already had some opportunities with The Rock in that group,
Right.
so he decided to leave. So he then needed to bring a person that had really truly technical knowledge of production of the event. Even though Dan understand bodybuilding very, very well,
Yeah.
he needed like a producer of the show so he could focus on his wheelhouse was really like public relations, marketing, getting sponsors. Really, that's where he was brought in.
Yeah.
So with a discussion with Jim Mannion, they kind of like decided to bring me in. Muscle Contest is the largest promotion of fitness shows in the world. We have 47 shows now in
Wow.
11 different countries. Yeah, it's huge,
My gosh.
including the Arnold Classic South America. So they felt that the level of experience that I brought in got them the comfort that they needed to make sure that the event was going to be produced with the excellence that Robin Chain had done on the past.
Yeah. Let's talk about 2020. I mean, for everybody, this has been the craziest year of our lives. But as a promoter, so many challenges, I'm sure. I mean, how have you dealt with trying to keep events afloat with all kinds of state, federal restrictions on gatherings and everything? I mean, this must be the toughest year for you personally as far as promoting events, I'm guessing.
Ron, it's been tragic, and that's it's very difficult. Like putting events without an audience.
Mm.
Of course, I cannot charge it's three sources of revenues really that promoters around the world have. They have the sponsorship, they have the audience, and they have the revenue that's generated by the registration of the amateur divisions.
Yeah.
Right now, we only have one source of revenue. It's the registration of the amateur divisions.
Mm.
And to be honest, that doesn't even make us break even. It really the I think a lot of people don't fully understand the costs involved on producing such an event.
Yeah.
It's astronomical cost on renting a venue that is really decent, from putting the correct lights, the staging, the amount of staff that you need. It's you're really talking about like 45 to $60,000 on producing an event like that. And to be able to break even on that with only the registration, I tell you, that's absolutely almost impossible.
Mm.
So we all the promoters out there, they're putting shows right now. They deserve a lot of like compliments. They need a lot of support because they're doing that out of 100% love of the sport. And the NPC and Jim Manning have been supporting us all the way, trying to do everything possible. But it's not easy. You're putting an event with basically only cost and very little revenues.
Yeah. I mean, it would be easy for any promoter to just say, we'll see you next year, guys. We're not even going to, but a lot of promoters are still going out of their way to have shows, even if there's no audience or 50% capacity, and you can't have an expo. So yeah, I agree. That's a labor of
Ron,
love for these people.
I gotta like I have a $20,000 prize money that I gotta give to the pro athletes this weekend, and I'm not trying to look like Mother Teresa here, but I'm doing this because I understand that I've been blessed for many years on that industry. I know the athletes need this, but this is gonna be 1,000% a loss to us.
Mm.
It's like it's I'm literally taking money out of my savings to do this to the sport. And yeah, the show is not going to be great. The show is not going to have all the lights and all the, because we're trying to just put a show under very strict guidelines. Only can have 50 people on the event, including my staff.
50. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. So you did have to cancel some events this year because the government just wouldn't allow any events. Um, are you the producer of the Arnold Classic South America? Are you involved heavily in that?
Yes, I was, and
Yeah.
we needed to cancel that event.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's the one that probably hurt you the most to cancel.
Yeah, of course, it was devastating to needed to cancel that event. But that event, to really be able for us to feasibly financially do it, Ron, we needed to have an expo with it.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Brazilian government came to us and said that we cannot have more than 100 people, we said, how can we put an expo with 100 people? I mean, what kind of expo is that going to be?
Yeah.
So we needed to unfortunately cancel the event.
I'm curious. I know the Ohio Expo, I think it's gone up to 200,000 people at times. From the pictures from videos and stuff I've seen of the Brazil show, there has to be at least that many people at that expo.
Oh, it's considered to be the largest kind of like expo in the world. The numbers are, I don't know the exact numbers, so I don't want to give you an incorrect number here,
Yeah.
but I would say it's very comparable to the one in Columbus in terms of size and in terms of investment for sure. So it's one of the most successful shows we produce around the world.
Yeah. So we got to talk a little bit about the Olympia. You have obviously, like everyone knows, there's challenges going on. What is the current situation in Las Vegas as far as sports events, gatherings, things like that?
Well, Ron, that's a great question. Just yesterday, I contacted some of like I work also. I used to work. I don't work any longer, but I used to be a executive for the UFC as a international VP of franchising for
Hmm.
them.
Wow.
And then so I contact some of my contacts there, as well as like people in the T-Mobile Arena there in Las Vegas, and they're currently booking already events on the T-Mobile Arena, of course, with some guidelines and some restrictions. But this is really good news. That shows us that the tendency is to open more things, and that's in November and December. We expect that we're gonna have, if not a full audience, 70 to 75% of
Oh,
the audience on the Olympia. Now, we are making some adjustments on this possible size of the expo
yeah,
to, of course, uh, uh, adjust to the period of time that we have. It's not going to be as big probably,
yeah,
but the show will go on, Ron.
yeah. No, I never doubted. I've talked to Dan a few times. I've talked to Jake. I know they are having this show. It is not going to be because everyone's like they're going to cancel the Olympia. I'm like they're not canceling the Olympia. They'll do whatever it takes to make that Olympia happen. So that's the latest update that we had. I think a post on IPB Pro League about a week ago on the Instagram was for the international athletes because there was a deep concern among all of us, the media, the fans, that Europeans, Middle Easterns, Asians, people from all those countries were not going to be able to get into the US. And you guys did put out an announcement saying contact the IPB Pro League office. I think you told them to contact and we'll get you in. And it didn't give any details because, you're not going to put all that out there. I don't know what you can say, what you can't say, but what can you say about that? Because that is amazing news for us. Because what kind of Olympia would it be with just Americans, Canadians?
Well,
Not an Olympia.
I'm in the interview with the great Ron Harris. I can hide a lot of stuff. So let me kind of give you guys some description of what you need to do right now if you're an international athlete and you want to compete on the Olympia. So they publicize a list on the CDC of countries that have restrictions. For example, Brazil, China, some countries in Europe. Now, if you're an international athlete and you live on those countries, this is what you're going to need to do to compete on the Olympia now. This may change, but now you needed to go to a different country, okay? Like such as Mexico, for example. Stay in Mexico for 14 days and travel from Mexico to the United States. That actually, the very beautiful Brazilian girl, Attila Santiago, that just won the show in New York Pro right now.
Dude, I saw her. I'm like, oh my God, what is she doing here? Well, she's obviously going to win, and she did. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she's stunning, and you cannot miss that girl. You cannot miss. She's stunning, and that's what she did. She went to Mexico to a couple weeks, stayed there with some friends, trained there, did her last couple weeks there, and then came to the United States. So that's basically what you need to do if you're from the Netherlands, if you're from the UK. You're gonna need to go to a different country in Europe that's not on that list. Stay there for a couple weeks and travel from there.
Could they go to Toronto, Canada? Would that work too?
I believe so. Yeah, they could go
Okay.
to Canada, stay there in Canada for a couple weeks. As long I don't know the laws in Canada. That's the
Right.
thing. So,
Yeah.
for example, if Canada has a restriction on that country, then they could. But if they don't, then they can go to Canada. They can go to any country that doesn't have a direct restriction, and that list is right there on the CDC. It's very easy accessible.
Okay. So if they go to these other countries, would it still be 2 weeks, or maybe they could just go to that country and come directly here?
Oh yeah, no, they go
Oh,
directly here. So
oh,
for example, let's say that Canada has no restrictions
yeah.
to the UK. So a UK athlete will go to Canada, stay in Canada for 2 weeks, and then from Canada they'll come to the United States.
All right, cool. Well, I don't know. I just say when that announcement was made, I said I don't know how they're going to pull this off, but I'm
Right.
curious to find out. So thank you for answering that question. Um, yeah. Now let's talk about some good news. We have another pro show. We don't have many more chances to qualify for the Olympia. I believe for open bodybuilding there are two events left. It's California Pro and Chicago Pro. Am I right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Has the
getting
show in
down.
Europe? Has the show
That's
in
right.
Europe?
That's right. Yeah, the
So
Alicante show, the Europa Pro.
those are
So
the two last shows. Yeah.
so this is three. This is it. After your show, there's only two more chances for people to qualify for the Olympia. But let's talk about the California Pro. It is happening this Saturday in Las Vegas, correct?
Yes.
Las Vegas. You got a great lineup, guys. Listen to this. Max Charles, a few of the guys who did very well at New York Pro, I knew would keep going because it's only a week away. Why wouldn't you? Max Charles looked phenomenal in New York. Hassan Mustafa, he's my pick to win this. If he gets a little bit tighter than he was last week, whew. Patrick Moore, Antoine Vallant, An Young, Joe Seaman from Canada, a newer guy, Ronald Gordon, Eddie Bracamonte, Stanimal, Stan De Longu. Great lineup. And it's going to be on pay-per-view. So how can people find out? Is it musclecontest.com for pay-per-view info?
Yeah, that's correct, Ron. People just need to go to our Muscle Contest website, and the only other media source that's allowed is the NPC and MD. Of course, we love the MD guys, so we're gonna have you guys there. Those are the only media sources that'll be there at a time covering the event. So please help us support the bodybuilding industry. Like I was telling you before, this putting this show is being very difficult financially to us. So if you love bodybuilding, if you want to support those athletes, you want to continue those shows, please help us out by having the live stream on and supporting the athletes that you love.
Is the live stream, the pay-per-view, going to be purely for professionals, or are you going to include the amateurs in that as well?
We're going to include the amateurs too. It's
Oh,
going to
okay.
be the whole show. So the
Okay.
whole show is going to be a live stream run. So
Yeah.
yeah, the lineup is, for people that used to say that bodybuilding is dead, they're tremendously wrong. We have such a great new athletes coming up, some really exciting guys. And I agree with you. Some of the guys that competed on the New York Pro coming up here, they make some small adjustments, and they really will be able to be on the circle of winning there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pump up this one guy. It's going to sound like I'm his cheerleader or something, but Hassan he's going to be really, really good. I see that guy top 5 or 6 in Olympia within the next couple of years.
Yeah,
If he improves, if he keeps improving,
his
for sure.
proportions and his symmetry definitely are outstanding. I saw some of the pictures, and the pictures don't do 100% justice. So I can't wait to see this guy in person and see how great he looks. You're gonna have like really 4 Olympia judges judging the show. You're gonna have me, my brother Tyler, and Jim. So you have 4 Olympia judges there. So I think you're gonna have a pretty strong uh, panel.
Excellent, man. Cool. Well, that's it, guys. Go to musclecontest.com for the pay-per-view info. The times, I actually love the fact that the times that you have the judging in the finals at, they actually correspond to like what they would be on the East Coast. It's 9 a.m. Pacific for judging, correct? Which is
Correct.
noon over here on the East Coast of the U.S. And then finals are at 3 p.m. Pacific, which will be 6 p.m. for me. So thank you. I didn't want to stay up too late. I'm old. I need my sleep, guys. So thank you so much
Yeah,
for that
for
schedule.
sure.
So guys, check that out this Saturday, California Pro. Excellent lineup. Some of the best guys from New York Pro, as I knew they would. They're moving on to this. We got some other names on there. It's a very, very deep quality lineup, and that's what we like to see in bodybuilding. We want to see battles, great physiques up there battling it out, and that's what you're going to see. So get the pay-per-view, guys. Support the sport, support the athletes, the promoters. This year, we all need to band together and make this work. We need to get through this together because this is it. This is our sport, guys. This is us. These are our people. So let's all help each other out. Tamer, thank you so much for talking today. I'm sure you're very busy man these last couple of days. So best of luck with the show, and I'll see you at the next one.
Ron, always a pleasure and an honor speaking with you. And MD, I can't wait to see you again, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with this man, Tamer El Guindy. We'll see you next time.